Welcome. My name is Rob Merrill from the University of Utah, Department of Radiology. I will be speaking about a convective skin cooling device for MR-guided focused ultrasound treatments. Desmoid tumors, or aggressive fibromatosis, are benign tumors that can cause severe pain and functional impairment. Focused ultrasound is a promising therapeutic technology for the control and elimination of these tumors. So far, all feasibility studies applying MR-guided focused ultrasound to desmoid tumors have reported first, second, or even third-degree skin burns as a side effect. This is due to the intensely focused beam at superficial targets and the lengthy ultrasound exposure time for deep targets. To mitigate the problem of skin burns, we have created an active cooling device that is easily adaptable to most MR-guided focused ultrasound systems. We have developed a pad or pillow made of welded polyether membranes. When filled with water, it is 22 centimeters in diameter. A series of welded baffles inside the pad direct chilled, degassed water in a zigzag pattern to maximize the convective cooling effect against the skin. To manufacture this pad, we had to twist each baffle to seal it into the weld at the outer pad edges, as highlighted with arrows here. This is a diagram of the supporting hardware required for operation of the cooling pad. The pad itself is within the MR scanner bore with the patient, with tubing lines going through the control room waveguide. This highlighted circuit keeps the pad at proper operational pressure. Using feedback from the inline pressure gauge, a repurposed temperature controller regulates the speed of a peristaltic pump to keep the pad pressurized. An independent circuit keeps the water coolant chilled and degassed during the procedure. This hardware includes a recirculating chiller along with an inline degassing membrane and vacuum pump. The hardware is on a compact cart that fits under the MR control desk. A control box sits on the MR control desktop along with a meter to monitor the dissolved oxygen level of the degassed water coolant. After making a prototype cooling pad, we used HYDROPHONE through transmission testing to ensure that no beam profile distortion occurs with the cooling pad in place. The pressure dropped by approximately 12% with the pad in place. Our preclinical tests involved 3 studies. First, we evaluated acoustic coupling of the pad on human volunteers. Then we performed phantom tests of the effects of coolant flow in the MR environment. And finally, we performed ablation tests using a porcine model. The acoustic coupling test showed that the pad could conform to a variety of human anatomy. We did notice that this pad design has the potential to trap bubbles at each baffle weld point. To evaluate coolant flow on MR temperature imaging, we shot ultrasound vertically through the pad into a gelatin phantom and compared temperature rise at the focal point for coolant, no flow, and flow conditions. MRTI measurements during flow were slightly noisier, but still acceptable. We noticed a high potential for bubble entrapment in this test as well. For the next pad prototype, we removed the baffles in the center to improve anatomical coupling and to reduce the possibility of trapping bubbles. The new design still maintained convective flow. We performed another MR temperature study with this new pad design, this time using an RF coil near the focal. The results from this study showed that flow artifacts would not be likely with this device in place during actual treatment. For the final study series, we performed in vivo ablation of farm pigs with these general protocol details. We performed bilateral ablation of the thigh muscle. One side was ablated with the cooling pad in place. The other side was used as the study control with no pad in place. This grid shows the sonication parameters applied bilaterally, including heating time, cooling time, and distance of the focal point from the skin surface. Here, the cumulative thermal dose is shown overlaid on T2 weighted images for both control and skin cooling conditions. There was no significant difference in the cumulated thermal dose volume due to the presence of the skin cooling pad. Use of the skin cooling pad significantly reduced the size of skin burns or eliminated them completely. Only one skin burn was present on the skin cooling side at a location that placed the focus 5 millimeters from the skin. In this case, the skin burn was reduced from a 2 cm burn to a 1 cm burn.